He was 16, a shy teen who loved sketching and riding his bike through quiet Ohio streets. He had dreams, friends, and a future that seemed endless. But in 1998, one night, one crime, and one mistake by investigators would tear that future away. He was accused of something he didn't do. He was coerced into a confession he didn't understand. And a small town desperate for answers labeled him a monster. For 24 years, he waited behind steel bars, praying for someone to uncover the truth. Then a single strand of hair changed everything. This is the story of Darius Cole, the boy who lost his youth, and the truth that refused to die. Welcome to Trig's Crime Nest, the home of true crime stories, unsolved mysteries, injustice, and shocking truths. Here, we explore the stories behind the headlines, the ones that make you question everything you thought you knew. If you love stories of injustice, redemption, and hidden truths, hit subscribe, and let's dive in. It was a cold, quiet October night in a small Ohio town. Police were called to the home of Rachel Turner, a beloved schoolteacher. She had been brutally murdered in her bedroom. The scene was chaotic. Blood on the floor, drawers pulled open, items scattered. No signs of forced entry, no obvious motive, just terror. Detectives combed the house for clues. Every detail mattered. A broken window latch, a single footprint in the backyard, and the small thread that would become the town's scapegoat. A teen boy who had done odd jobs for the victim that summer. 16-year-old Darius Cole. He mowed her lawn, carried groceries, and sometimes helped with small chores. That innocent connection became damning evidence. Rumors spread faster than the police could act. A neighbor said they saw him near Rachel's house that evening. Another claimed he'd been acting strangely for weeks. By sunrise, Darius was in handcuffs. He protested. "I didn't do it. I was nowhere near her house." But the town had already decided. The headline screamed, "Teen convicted in teacher murder," and the whispers followed him into a life of darkness. Darius was alone in a cold, fluorescent-lit room. No parent, no lawyer, just questions that never stopped coming. "I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it." Hours stretched into 14 relentless, exhausting hours. They promised, "Confess, and you can go home." A frightened boy eventually broke. He signed a confession he barely understood, words dictated by fear, exhaustion, and coercion. Within weeks, his life was over. Friends stopped calling. Teachers avoided him. The newspapers branded him a monster. At his trial, the jury never heard the hesitation in his voice, the terror behind his eyes, or the small inconsistencies that proved he couldn't have done it. Life in prison. No parole. His mother wept openly in court. He whispered to her one last time, "I didn't do it, Ma. I didn't do it." For 24 years, Darius existed in shadows. He measured life in meals, showers, and roll calls. He witnessed birthdays, holidays, funerals, all without him. Some prisoners were guilty, some innocent, some broken by the system. He watched them all, learning survival. He devoured law books, studied court cases, and wrote letters to lawyers. Every appeal was denied, every hope deferred. Flashbacks haunted him. The warm sun on his bike rides, sketching quietly in his room, family dinners that now existed only in memory. And yet, he refused to give up. In 2018, a lifeline appeared, the Innocence Project Midwest. They saw the confession for what it was, coerced. They noticed evidence that had never been tested, a tattered t-shirt and a single strand of hair. In 2021, permission was granted for modern DNA testing. Lab technicians worked meticulously, aware a single strand of hair could overturn decades of injustice. Weeks passed, and then the results came back. It wasn't Darius. The DNA belonged to a known serial offender, long dead, who had committed similar crimes across multiple states. Suddenly, decades of lies crumbled. The evidence that could have saved him in 1998 had been ignored, lost, or buried by bureaucracy. In February 2022, the court declared Darius wrongfully convicted. After 24 years, he stepped into sunlight he barely recognized. The world felt alien. The air smelled differently. The years lost could never be returned. Reporters swarmed, cameras flashing. He answered softly, I forgive them, but I'll never get those years back. Adjusting to freedom was harder than he imagined. Technology, trends, friends, even street names, all changed. The world moved on without him. He grappled with anger, grief, and loss, yet found space for relief, hope, and forgiveness. He now works with youth organizations, educating teenagers about their rights and the dangers of coercion. He often says, "The truth can be buried, but it never dies. It waits for someone brave enough to find it." Darius' story became a symbol for thousands still fighting wrongful convictions. Every lost childhood, every silenced voice, every stolen dream became a rallying cry for justice. The town that condemned him slowly came to terms with reality. Some apologized, some stayed silent. The courthouse walls remembered each mistake, every misstep, every lost year. One lingering question remained. How many others were trapped in the system, victims of rushed judgments, ignored evidence, and fear? Darius' story inspired reforms, advocacy campaigns, and hope for those still imprisoned unfairly. It was proof justice is fragile, but truth is relentless. Darius reflects often on the years stolen from him, the birthdays, friendships, and quiet moments lost forever. But he also reflects on resilience, courage, and forgiveness. He teaches, question authority when necessary, document everything. Never stop seeking the truth. Every wrongful conviction is more than a legal error. It's a stolen life, a story silenced, a childhood erased. Darius' story reminds us that justice is not always immediate, but truth, if pursued relentlessly, cannot remain hidden forever. Sometimes, Darius walks past the schoolyards and parks he once knew. He sees kids laughing, riding bikes, living freely, the life he never had. He carries no bitterness toward those who believe the wrong narrative. Instead, he carries a mission to educate, to prevent another Darius Cole. He asks, how many stories like mine are still buried? How many teens are trapped because someone refused to look deeper? His story is a warning, a lesson, and a beacon of hope. How many more are locked away for crimes they didn't commit? How many truths remain hidden, waiting for someone to dig deeper? If this story moved you, let it inspire others. Comment below. Do you believe the justice system can ever truly be fair? Subscribe to Trig's Crime Nest for more shocking real crime stories, mysteries, and injustices. Remember, every story has two sides, and we're here to uncover both.